Okay, in class here. All right, so we started with this first thing. And of course, we should not have any problem with this. Hopefully, you know that this is G. Cosine is cos, and that's what we access on the calculator. So far, so good. Tan is tangent, so that is H. So no big deal there. And then even so, with this next one, I think after you eliminate those, fine. What's this cosecant? We're going to get to it. By the way, I don't think I'm going to have cosecant, secant, and cotangent on your test Thursday. But I did want to introduce them as there are these other three trig functions that you'll see a lot next year. As a matter of fact, I told you in my CAT class, we're doing trig right now. I should show you their worksheet. The first couple questions are cosecant and secant, and um, and just to know that they exist. So I hope you could at least figure out that CSC must be the short of cosecant just by guessing, right? Unfortunately, on your graphing calculator, you don't even have this button though. So you won't be able to see that anywhere else. And then hopefully you can guess that secant is SEC, so that I. And then tangent or cotangent is B. Okay, how many people got that, right? Okay, shouldn't be a big deal. And then I did want to share this that I probably could have told you when we first did the notes. This is just another way of saying inverse, arc. So I wanted to introduce that terminology as well, but then not worry about it too much. You just need to know in solving triangles, you need to, I like turning this so you can see that there's my presentation there, double presentation. Arctan means inverse tan, and that's how you find angle measures. So this is D, and I think everyone would have got this. Once you go down the line and eliminate things, oh, okay, arc sine must mean inverse sine. All right, just another word. Okay, and that word will be used a lot next year, and definitely in college algebra trig or even in calculus if that's many of your trig is big in calculus as well. All right, and then this next one, sure, you should not have missed this. And really, guys, fill this in. I don't like this. This should have an angle measure. So you tan an angle measure. So I'm trying to put theta in there. This is something that annoys me when students don't do that. There should be a variable there that we're signing that. So sine of an angle is C, opposite over hypotenuse. Should not have missed that. Cosine, I'm going to eliminate these so I don't have to look at them. Ca. And then toa, opposite over adjacent, is D. So we should have all been able to get that. Otherwise, you're severely behind. I'm just going to be honest. But everyone that we asked last week, it was perfect. You guys were all great answering these questions. And then those that process of eliminate, hopefully you got the next one right. And then you figured out, oh, okay, these other trig functions, they're just flips. They're just reciprocals of our original three, sine, cosine, and tangent. So the one I think you should have been able to get next is cotangent, because they both have the word tangent in it. And you see cotangent on the left box here. So cotangent must be related to cosine, which is opposite over adjacent. So cotangent must be E adjacent over opposite. How many people got that? Good. Awesome. All right. And I was hoping that, and then you start seeing this relationship. They're really not a big deal, the other three. They're just flips. So now it's a flip of a coin. Who flipped the coin correctly? Cosecant is actually related to sine. Isn't that weird? I bet you thought it was related to cosine. So cosecant is A. It's the flip of sine, the reciprocal. Anyone guess that right? Wow. I thought most people would say cosecant goes with cosine. All right. And that's a usual thing that students mess up. So secant is related to cosine reciprocally. So I introduced the three functions. At least you know, at least next year when this teacher says, did they show you that last year? You have to remember this one day, this 1 minute. All right. And hopefully you do. All right. We'll move on here. And then this is what we used to do with the students. You used to make them write sentences, but then, you know what? Let's just have them put a few words in the sentence. What would you use, everyone? 3, 2, 1. So or sine. So you'd use sine because this is a so situation. hard to fit that in there. It's because the hypotenuse and the opposite side was given. All right? And the opposite side needs to be determined. So the next thing you should have wrote is the actual equation. Okay, I did kind of walk around and check. Some people, you need some help on writing this correctly. I need an equal sign. No equal sign, I'm going to be annoyed. All right, you sign an angle measure, and that equals the opposite side over the adjacent. That's really all I need to see. I don't need you to see multiplying both sides by 8, but if you want to share that, go ahead. And then can you guys help me out better than second hour? What is the final answer? What do you end up getting? Someone want to share out? Come on, somebody. If it's wrong, it's okay. Say that again. 4.59. If I tell you to round, is that right? 4.59. If I tell you to round to the 10th, it'd be 4.6. And then what will we put on it? Nice. Centimeters. Finally did give you a question where we have labels. All right. So a little review from yesterday. Didn't need a sentence. Sorry, Adrian over there. Should have told you don't write a sentence. This one's cosine. So here's what I expect you for work. It's because adjacent and hypotenuse is given. So that's a ka. Remember what I told you? Write SOHCAHTOA and at the top of a test when we have trig, and then you use that as you go down. Cosine of 60. Well, this is another one where we have x over 17. Can we share out what that one is? Kind of heard you. Did I hear an 18? Oh, 8.5? Sorry. Just don't want to get my calculator out on the screen. You guys can help me. And it's yards. So these were two cases where we had to find a side measure. 8.5, right? That's what you said? Just want to make sure I didn't mishear you. All right. Now I'm going to be honest with this one. This one's silly. I should have you raise your hand. How many people did not read the word problem? You don't need to. It's like right there. I mean, I could just look at this. This is why I'm not going to do this on the test. I'm not going to give you a word problem with the drawing given because you don't even have to read the word problem. I already know I have to find question mark, and I'm given these two sides. So this is a cosine. And then remember what so on your homework, I ask you to do this, those that want to be successful. Just being honest. I gave you word problems with pictures and word problems without. The ones with pictures, I always tell my CAT students to do what I'm going to tell you to do. Don't even read the question. Don't even look at the get like sticky notes and cover the picture. Read the question, try to draw the picture, then reveal, did you draw it right? Because that's the big deal with the word problem. Can you make the drawing? Once you make the drawing, it's over. It turns into this question right away once you make the drawing. So the whole point of a word problem is, can you read it and label the sides correctly? And then from that, do the trig. All right, I'll say that. We'll see if that actually happens. And then we know question mark, this is an inverse cosine because this is review. That's why I had you do this before. What's the final answer for that? 39.8? Is that correct? Is that what everyone else got? Uh-oh, there seems to be a controversy. Is it 39.8? What'd you get, Lauren? 33.6? Maybe retype it. Maybe you mistyped. 33.6, I think, is what we had last year or last hour. Okay, so maybe you just hit a wrong side on accident. Oh, tan. Okay. Yeah, this is adjacent and hypotenuse. Sorry. I had to think about that for a second. So now on this one, this is the point. This is your real test question. And I really can't teach this. You have to be able to read the question, understand we do have a triangle. I'm not drawing a truck. I don't have time. But a moving truck is equipped with a ramp that extends from the back of the truck to the ground. So we should know that the ramp, so here's the truck, fine. That's it. I'm not even giving you wheels. Okay? And the ramp does this. It comes down at an angle like that. And then look at how this is read. It doesn't say the ramp is 12 feet long. It says it touches the ground 12 feet from the back of the truck. So here's what the ramp kind of creates. It creates this right angle with the horizontal ground. and this is 12 right here. Doesn't say the ramp is 12 feet long. So that would be a problem. The height of the ramp is 2.5 feet. All right. The ramp's height is how high it is, like above the ground here at this point. So hopefully you did put the 2.5 here. And they are both in feet, so we don't have to do any conversions. Calculate to measure the angle formed with the ramp and the ground. That is this. Okay, so that is X. How many people had the right drawing? All right, a couple. All right, and that's what we need to work on. I don't know how I can, there's nothing I can teach on that. You got to read the words and then maybe make the drawing and then just recheck, are all my parts in the right spot? After this, some assumptions. The ground is horizontal. These are things that we do have to assume for us to be able to proceed, because this must be a right triangle. So, and then it's tangent. And yet again, it's tan of x equals 2.5 over 12, where we have to find the angle measure. So x actually equals inverse tan. What I'm writing right here is exactly what you should have written. Maybe you don't have to write the middle part, but at least the top part, and then the answer. And then if you have the right answer, I know you typed the right thing. What's the answer for this one? 11.8? 11.8? And then it is degrees. Okay? All right. Now let's go to the next page, which actually represents your notes. All right, I'm going to be a freak on this because I swear to dog. Hey, there's a dog on this sheet. Look in the middle. I swear to dog, like I said, the percentage was 75%. And every year, even though I act like this about angle of depression, it still is an enormously high amount of percentage of students that get angle of depressions wrong. And I act like a freak up here and say, don't do it. Say it all the time. So we must read this and make sure we understand how to make an angle of elevation and depression. Elevations almost hardly ever miss, and I'll keep myself here so they can see on the screen here. But notice what it says. Angle of elevation comes from looking up, first of all. Come on, elevate up. So I have a line of sight looking up. By the way, how many sides do I need to make an angle measure? How many sides? 2. How many do I have right now? Don't count my body. 1. So I need another side. So an angle of elevation is an angle which the observer must look up to see the object compared to the capital. Highlight that, since you don't have to write it, since I provided the notes for you. Horizontal line of sight. So first of all, I'm looking up. I only have one side. I need another one. I need this horizontal. So that's what it's comparing. When I'm looking up, what's the angle compared to looking straight out? And that makes sense, and students almost never miss an angle of elevation question. These are very successful. Why do they screw up angle of depression? I do not know, because it's the same rule, but depression means looking down. So you can't see I can't get in here so you can see me here, but looking down at something. So I'm above something looking down. How many sides do I have right here? 1. Don't count this. So what else do I need? A horizontal. All right. And that's what I have off to the side over here. Here's me looking at a bird. There's my angle. I put my picture in the notes. Isn't that nice? All right. And then here's me looking down at a boat, like standing on a hill or a cliff. All right. And there's the angle of depression. I swear to dog, like 70% of the students, they draw this and then they draw this and they call this the angle of depression. And that's wrong. Never, 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 never. Okay. It's compared to looking out, down. It's this angular displacement. Okay. So don't screw this up. Every year it happens too much. All right. And then you got to breathe. Woo. Love this drawing. This is from our previous book that we had. They had a couple good things in there. And again, a student has to complete this sentence. Last hour did pretty good. One student answered wrong. It's okay. I like the being courageous. Looking at the dog bird picture, what can you conclude about the relationship between an angle of elevation and depression when they're connected, let's say? So here's the dog looking up to the bird. I'm going to choke myself here. All right. And then here's the bird looking down to the dog. There's their angle of depression and elevation. What do you know about the relationship about those two? Boom. They are congruent. What's the reason, though? Let's have someone else answer that. How do I know they're congruent? There's a reason that we've already tested you on. Yes? Boom shakalaka. And then also, I'm not going to write this, so I'm going to be a really bad geometry proof maker. Obviously, those two horizontal lines are parallel, right? So if the lines are parallel, when cut by a transversal, that's the line of sights. The line of sights are the transversal. Then the alternate interior angles are congruent. So the angle of elevation and angle of depression are congruent. And then I'm not going to put in all that stuff about the proof. I'm just going to say because they are alternate interior angles. Nicely done. You guys both got it real quick. Knowing they were congruent and knowing the reason why. Because the lines are parallel cut by a transversal. Should add that part in there, but that's also kind of poor English. Now, I'm going to have you try this. So you go ahead and try to draw this. Remember, I said on your homework, when drawings are provided, get little sticky notes and cover them. Then use that as like you're testing yourself. Can I make the drawing or not? Because once you get the drawing, it's simple. It really, really is. And then notice the steps as you're working. This is the steps that you go about, and that's what I would need to see, obviously in your work. For this one, I need to see the drawing, the trig, the answer. Did I talk about your at-home component? What you have to do at home? Yes or no? Okay, I'll do that at the end of this. Even put it in the video for those that are going to miss. Okay, and I'm waiting. I can't pause this video, so feel free if you're bored. Wait till you see me start writing again at home. Actually, I'll walk around too. So bye-bye for a second. Start working on that. The whole front page of the worksheet for homework is do not solves. So they just ask you to set it up. And you can stick with that. There's enough solving the rest of the way. Because the big thing with trig is you set it up correctly, well then it shouldn't be a problem going from there. That's enough for you guys. The setup plus the evaluation of it. Okay, looking good. Thing. Make sure you have a complete triangle finished off. And then we do have 9 minutes, so we're okay here. I'll wait another minute because I'm going to go right into the angle of elevation as well. So if you think you finished the angle of depression, try to do the angle of elevation question. And if you don't get to that, then it'll just be like notes, me explaining what you got to do. Do help me out on calculations at the end. Okay, I think that's good enough. Plus, people online are, if they're watching this video, they're bored. Okay, so first thing is make a drawing. A sonar operator on a ship detects a submarine. So first things first, I don't want to do wavy water too much, but here's the water. So I do have a ship up here. Took 3 years of art. Isn't that pretty good? I'm just kidding. And then here's a sub. This is a really good sub too. There you go. All right. So that's the position of the two things that we're dealing with here. A sonar operator on a ship detects a submarine at a distance of 500 meters. Well, guys, I don't know how else to say this. That's the direct line to these two. So that is the 500. And I'll just remember that I'll put an M there. So you got 500 meters directly from ship to boat or submarine at an angle of depression. Okay, so here's the thing, and I made a big deal about this, so there should be no missing this right now. I need a horizontal out. Went a little too far there, and that is, sorry, I thought that was unknown. That's my 40 degrees. There, not here. This is not 40. And that's what I get with 75% of the students on an angle of depression question on the first quiz or test. Arrgh! Okay, so I don't get how we can do that after all the things that I've covered here. All right. How deep is the submarine? And actually, I do want to get rid of this and not see that bad math. Put that 500 there. Because this is X. How deep is the sub is how below the water is directly, its actual depth. Now, my 500's in the way, but this is the point I wanted to make. Oftentimes, I wouldn't make a mistake on an angle of elevation or angle of depression question, but I double check. That means the angle of elevation from the sub to the ship should also be 40. Does that match? Does that make sense? Is that what is true? Yes or no? So if you put 40 here in the wrong spot, then this is wrong. You don't have an equal angle of elevation reversing which way we're looking. So it's another reason why we should not make a mistake on angle of elevation. I'm sorry, angle of depression. Too many words in my mind. With that being said, we know that the water is definitely horizontal. It's wavy, but on average horizontal. That's a right angle. So the next thing is, once I get this done, it's a sine, right? It's a so. I have opposite and the hypotenuse. I don't have opposite, but I have to find opposite. And I have hypotenuse. So sine of 40 equals, shouldn't have to, I asked you this last week. And then for solving, I guess you could write one more step just to humor me. You'd multiply both sides by 500. And then what's x equal? Help me out. Help me help you. What'd you get? 321.4. I don't know what the rounding says up there. We'll just go to the 10th if it says that. And then what's the label? Meters. Okay, so we are going to ask for labels. All right, because some people will put degrees, and then that means they're way out there. They don't understand what we actually did here. All right, and then just going to finish off the notes. You are 50 feet from the screen at a drive-in theater. So that means right off the bat, you are 50 feet away from the base. All right. Your eye is on a horizontal line with the bottom of the screen, and the angle of elevation to the top of the screen is 58. I made this a little too big. So here's the top of the screen. Here's the movie screen. It's like on a big, concrete, situation here, I guess. So we'll call that 58 degrees. It's about ready to ring the bell. Okay, people, I guess it's getting close. Some people, 2 minutes and they're putting their stuff away. X is that. Okay, so real quick, what's the trig on this? Right? Correct? Tan? And tan is x over 50. Then multiply both sides by 50. So that's what I mean about these word problems. I'm not giving you a word problem, sorry, with the drawing given. The whole point of the word problem is, can you make the drawing from the reading? Then the trig is super simple. Then you can type on the calculator. All right. Didn't realize I took a little too much time probably walking around. Don't look at that. You look at this, though, at home, right there. I am going to put a video short, no more than 10 minutes. Might be an ed puzzle. I might try to find one that's not me, give you a break from my voice. About solving triangles. Here it is, real simple, and it will be on the test. I'm going to give you a triangle with 3 parts. Solving a triangle means find the other 3 parts. There's 3 angles, there's 3 sides, and it involves trigonometry, everything you already know. All right, so I'm just giving you the idea of what does it mean to solve a triangle. They give you 3 parts. One of the parts is a 90-degree angle. And then find the other parts through solving. So that is your at-home component. All right, have a good day. Stop sharing.